So talking to yet another one of the Illusion Gaming team, I'm joined now by Sekwele Ramaube. He's also one of those semi-pro gamers, as most gamers in this country are. Still has to hold down a day job, but passionately involved in the FGC. Street Fighter is his game of choice. Sekwele, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for your time.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure to get to learn and get to know a little bit more about one more member of the FGC. So let's talk about your journey into gaming.
Yes.
How did it start for you? What was the attraction when it came to most kids? Yes, probably an arcade or something like that. But what was your attraction?
Yeah, when I was younger, I didn't know much about gaming. So I made a couple of friends, and one day after a few months, they told me, "Do you play Street Fighter? Do you play those kind of games?" Right? I didn't understand what they were saying initially. What is that, all of that? Because initially I came from a very rural area, never knew that stuff existed before. Then they took me one day and I got hooked. There was a game shop where in our neighborhood, I don't think they still exist these days. There was a game shop. We actually went there and I saw all these games. I saw people on other arcades doing whatever, some of them mashing. I wanted to try that out. So they put a coin in it for me and I was hooked. I was hooked.
So that's your introduction.
That was my introduction.
Favorite character then, and is it still your favorite character now?
So when I started playing, the first game I actually played was actually called Virtua Fighter.
Most of us played that many years ago.
Yeah, many years ago. So I like the look of Akira, and was that other guy with the ninja thing with the whole, what is his name again? I forgot him, but there was a guy who had like a covered to his face. He just was showing that. I like those two characters. Those were the first two characters I played around with. Didn't know what I was doing half the time, but hey, and I didn't even know they had super jumps and stuff, and I only discovered that years after I played the game. Years after. So that was my first game, but today, you probably will never hear me talking about Virtua Fighter in any sentence besides now.
Okay. And your favorite character now in terms of Street Fighter?
My favorite character in Street Fighter 5 specifically is Zangief. So yeah, the big heavy grappler.
What attracted you to him?
Hey, what attracted me to Zangief is that he doesn't have what you call neutral skipping tools. He can't go from being in neutral, like we're fighting in neutral, and just jump into the other side. So I felt like it is the best way for me to learn the game, because he will actually force me to actually have to learn how to fight without having any tools that literally just allow me to skip neutral or do something that's unblockable or ambiguous. So I think that's why I like him the most. He forces you to learn how to play the game, how to defend, how to attack without having any of the outlavish, overpowered tools that the other characters have.
And your journey into becoming proficient in Street Fighter, obviously Street Fighter 5, the current version. What have been some of your learnings as you said, as a youngster growing up in an environment that didn't have access to this, to suddenly being exposed to it, and now being part and parcel of a gaming entity that is literally trying to take gaming to the next level?
Yeah, so let me just kind of go back a bit to a few years ago. So a few years ago, I was at work. I think just after varsity, I got a job, and I was focused on my job. I didn't play much games at that point. Then I saw a video online, the famous Daigo Perry. I saw it around in September of 2018. Then I said, oh man, I really miss gaming, you know what? I really miss gaming. So first thing I did, I said, you know what? I am going to get a new PC, because my old one, yeah, it wouldn't be able. So I decided to save up some money, got my new PC. By October of the same year, 2018, I downloaded Street Fighter. I downloaded it. I played around with a lot of characters. I didn't know what to do, stuff. The first thing I did do, first game I played against an opponent, I just went to ranked immediately.
Okay.
I didn't do the whole training and whatever. I went straight into ranked. I won my first game. Wow. Oh, I was playing an overpowered character anyways back then. Then something grew in me. You know what? I want to play a real life opponent. Like him sitting here or being across. Doesn't matter. So also I had this yearning just to be able to play a real human person, because the previous title, Street Fighter 4, I just had it on my PC, my old PC. I just played against the CPU. That's all I ever did. I didn't even know a competitive scene existed. Then a couple of months later, into the next year, I saw an announcement about a thing called EKC Tech Fest.
Yes.
EKC Tech Fest. Then I said, they have Street Fighter. Okay, I think that's a great opportunity for me to actually go play real human opponents. I went there, I played, I enjoyed myself. But what I didn't know is that you just got exposed to the best players in South Africa. At that point, I didn't even know that these guys were literally the high echelon of Street Fighter in South Africa. I saw that they were really good, and I think a lot of them were actually surprised about how good I was, since I'd never played in an offline tournament. And then that was in 2019, right? Then the guy, what's his name? Jabi
Mabuza.
Yeah, Jabi Mabuza. He was the guy who told me that on that day. He told me, hey man, you know what? We like what you do. You know what? There's a thing happening tomorrow in Pretoria at Rush. It's called Red Bull Hit the Streets. You should come there and stuff. So bought a ticket that same day. By 8 a.m., I was at the Sun Arena, waiting for the thing to open. I think it opened at 10. Stuff. I was there. I went to the back. I saw the Red Bull thing, Red Bull Maddie. I think that's what they call that truck. I went there and I asked the guy, can I play? Can I play and stuff? What's going to be happening? He told me, yeah, we're going to be having some Red Bull Hit the Streets kind of thing. It's a local thing. We were trying to get the best Street Fighter players. And I said, can I try? I said, he asked me how I knew about this. I said, no, a guy called Jabi, he told me about this. Yesterday. So I came here. He said, oh, Jabi Mabuza. Really good player, that guy. Really good player, that guy.
Like 2019 champion, 2020 champion, 2021 champion.
20, yeah.
3 years in a row.
3 years in a row. So I got there. When eventually the whole thing started, my first game was against Belly Date.
Okay. Ooh, trial by fire.
Yeah, trial by fire. But I think I had a feeling that you guys have never played Zangief, have you? I got a feeling that, you know what happened? First game, I beat Billy.
Wow.
I was ecstatic. I didn't know he was at that stage. I didn't know. I only knew Jabi was a really good player and Ren was a good player also. I didn't know he was a good player. I beat him. And I saw that a couple of people were impressed about it. I don't know why, but I got to find out that, this thing is big. Then later that year, as the tournaments were, the table hit the streets, they were going all over, even came here, went to all places. I think we went to Comic-Con. I think at Comic-Con, there was like this winner stays on kind of thing at Red Bull Maddie, where you play the most people there. If you get the 10-week win streak, you can go off. That's where I met Mr. Art Department. He was literally standing behind me. I was literally, how can I say it, just going through opponent one by one. I was back in 2019. And I think after I didn't do that well in the whole Red Bull Hit the Street qualifier and stuff, but I realized there's a lot of good players in South Africa. There's a lot of good players, and I wanted to improve. I wanted to improve, so I just told myself, you know what, I'm going to improve how I play, but I'm not going to do it the way everyone does it. I'm going to do it in a way I feel comfortable in and stuff. And I want to change perceptions of people. I want to change perception of people in the community that no character is too weak to do so. And then as things one thing led to the other, we got to this year we had a Capcom Cup qualifiers happening in South Africa. I got there, I played, I made a really good account of myself. I played in matchups where historically if you play Zangief, it's an automatic lose. It's an automatic lose. But I fought my way to top 16. I fought my way. Even in top 16, I pushed the guy to the final game, final round, and I was really proud of myself. That if I did a lot. That's when Adipanam approached me and said, "Hey man, you know what? I'm starting something new. I want to showcase South African gamers. I want to really showcase South African gamers and the FGC, what's really happening in here. You know what, man? You want to join me on my journey?" I say, yeah, I think we can help each other out, man. We can help each other out because you know more about the FGC than most people out there who'll approach you. He was not the first person to approach me, by the way. Was not the first person to approach. There have been people who approached me, but every time I looked into them, you guys know nothing about the FGC. You guys know nothing. So I didn't feel like it's a place where I want to be. I wanted to be somewhere where I am celebrated for who I am and people understand what I do. So we are here today.
You're at Illusion right now.
Yep.
Your future plans. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years. In the next 5 years, I want to be a very integral part of the Street Fighter community. Because the Street Fighter community is constantly, let's say FGC is constantly on a recruitment process. Like we're always trying to recruit new players. We're always trying to get, good or bad, let me say, average players just to try and level up their thing. But obviously everyone has their own opinion in the community. Like this is the way everyone will tell you. Some people will tell you there's only one road, that's it. But I always push the envelope and say, guys, if you want to get better, they'll get better in their own way, whatever they choose, however they go about it. So I want to be a very integral member. I also want to be on the biggest stage. I also want to be in the biggest stage player.
At the Kumite.
Okay. Kumite is an invitational. It's an invitational, to be fair. It's an invitation. They won't always invite the best players, but they will invite the best players for the event.
Yes.
So I think, yeah, if I can get to the biggest stage, also get my name out there, show that South Africa is also, guys, we need, if you can invest in South Africa, I'm telling you, the world will see that, guys, there are gamers everywhere. There are gamers everywhere.
There you have it. Fascinating insights from a guy that's been doing it literally. Found out about gaming from nothing, didn't have exposure to it growing up, and here he is, part of the Illusion Gaming team. Sekwele, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to watching the rest of the career develop.
Thank you.
And
Thank
5
you.
years from now, let's see that all comes true.
Hey, I have not personally, I have visioned myself being there, but I have not visioned myself being a player there. But I will be there. I will be there, guys. I'll be in the conversation at the biggest light in the world in terms of Street Fighter.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. Okay, cool.